ACME TV.
Good evening and welcome to ACME TV. I'm here with Mr. Darnell Payne. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here.
And just so that we're all on the same page, could you tell our audience here a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in the Chicago dance industry?
Well, I guess I'm the only one that's free and still around from the dance community. I'm like you said, I'm Darnell Payne. I'm from a dance group called UFIU, which was the first, I want to say, licensed dance group. We were the first group in existence as a full-fledged dance group, but we were the first people to actually get our 501c3 and become a professional dance group in the city of Chicago. When we went out to get the license, they didn't even know what we wanted. They didn't know why we wanted it. They just, it's like, what are you trying to do with this? And I was like, well, we're trying to dance on a professional basis where we can actually ask for pay to perform. So I guess that's who I am, 26, 27 years now. Later, after starting a street dance group, I'm now a disciplinarian at a high school and trying to move forward with get teenagers on the right path, get them educated, getting them on with their life so they can become, successful parts of life.
Cool. And when you started up with the 501c3, that was through UFIU.
UFIU, right? Touchable Unity Dance Troupe, also known as UFIU. I guess the name was so long. Every time you talk to people, they're Touchable Unity Dance Troupe. So we shortened it. The Alphas from Chicago State just loved us, and they always said, well, y'all gonna be our little brother club. We're gonna help y'all out when we first got started. But of course, with the 501c3, we couldn't be connected with the Alphas or with this or with that because we were a non-for-profit organization, and they had already had their charter, 100 years. So it was always a running joke. You A5A, you guys are UFIU, and that's how it actually got shortened. So on everyone's paperwork, it started coming in UFIU.
Sure.
So we stuck with it. It was cool. People liked it, and we stuck with it.
And as you were going along, was there sort of a driving force that was guiding UFIU as you were starting that? Or?
Well, I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I mean from 65th and Drexel at 63rd and Cottage Grove at the time. As a lot of people know, it was a really bad area at the time. There was a lot of killing. There was a lot of, at that time, recruitment for young black men to be part of gangs. And my mom just wasn't having it. She was not having it. My mom was one of those mothers that everything you did, she wanted to know when, where, who you were going with, what time you were going, what time you were getting back. So anything that I wanted to participate in, my mom had to know everything about it. All of my friends, she had to know. So we were sitting around the house just dancing, just having a good time, finding a way to entertain ourselves. And my mom was like, you guys are really good. Y'all should put a group together, because there were always talent shows in the neighborhood. But they wouldn't dance. It was either you were a singer or you were, I don't know, groups never came together to dance. It was like you were singing, or it was comedians, or I don't know what else they were really doing, but dance was never really featured back then. And my mom can sew really well. She made costumes and stuff like that. She made auditorium drapery when we were younger. And she came on one day and was like, I got y'all costumes. This is a contest coming up. I want you all to, do this talent show, whatever her friend was putting on or something. And we started practicing right there in my house, as in we're going to be the best. We're going to win. There's no way in the world we could lose because, at the time it's like our moves. I mean, I know I'm a little bigger now, but back then I was a skinny little dude. I thought for sure I was something. So we started putting together our routine. We actually won the show. And from that show, a lot of teenagers came up to us like, man, how can we be down with y'all? And it was so funny because we weren't a gang. We weren't into it at all. Like I said, my mom wasn't having it. So it had to be positive. It had to be people who my mom would accept, would let come in the house, to practice, because she just wasn't having the whole gangbanging thing. So from there, it just grew from there. It went from our front room to our basement to our backyard to the park district, and it went around the world from that point.
Sure. And were there a number of other groups sort of in the early beginnings, that sort of came out of what you all created?
Back then, I want to say there were maybe 2 or 3 other groups. I would be remiss to sit back and not mention, the Ronnie Sloans from House-O-Matic. And, a lot of other groups basically sparked by our group or House-O-Matic, who decided, oh, they weren't listening to the rules, or his mom not finna tell me what to do, or this, that, and the other. So it seemed like every week a new group popped up. I don't want to go to their practice because they practice too hard, or his mom won't let us do this, or they won't let us do this move. Because my mom was standing there like, y'all can't grind like that. Y'all can't be popping y'all private like to take that out. So other groups who wanted to be a little more risque. It was a group called Together We Jacked. Just other groups, just began to spring up overnight. Chicago was looking for something. They were always thirsty to have something else to do. Because back then, either you were in school, you were in a gang, or I don't know what really you did. There was not a lot to do. So yeah, there were definitely other groups. Some of them weren't as good, some weren't as organized, and then some of the gangs even began to hide behind the facade of being a dance group. It was their way of slipping in and out. They represented their gang or whatever, but they was like, oh no, we're a dance group. If trouble ever came around, but those were the tricky times.
And really, the scene sort of started here in Chicago, didn't it?
The scene definitely started here in Chicago. House dancing, they put house together. House itself is its own genre, and from people with simple beat machines or 2 vinyl records bringing to track beats out and them dancing to the downbeats, people were calling that house music. And Frankie Knuckle and Ron Hardy and all those guys were like really, they would smash and they were doing it really big. But they would take like little sections off of a vinyl record and they would just loop it. They would just take their finger and keep bringing it back. And it kept a constant beat. So from there, breakdancing came in, and there were a lot of breakers who actually couldn't do a lot of the floor tricks. So they did a lot of up-rocking. They did a lot of popping and ticking and stuff like that.
Sure.
So the natural progression was, I don't break, I'm not just a house head who bounce around all day. I'm more into choreography, or we didn't even know what choreography, and why would I use that word?
Creating a routine.
Creating a routine.
Thing, yeah.
And each week coming up with a new routine, a fresh routine, because we were just waiting to get to the Holy Cross party, or we were waiting to get to the music box, or the La Mirage, or any of the other functions that were geared towards house music, meaning the Frankie Knuckles, Ron Hardy house music, so we can get that circle to open up.
Sure.
In the middle of the party. And once that circle opened up, we had that 10 to 15 seconds to just let go, But out of that circle, 10, 15 of us all knowing the same moves, it would send the party into just, they couldn't believe like these guys. First of all, we were male. And then, the girls get to screaming. So the more they scream and want our attention, the more excited we got. So each week we had to have a better routine. We had to come back even harder next week.